So we're in the back of the Airbnb, and I figured I'd recap day one of Worlds. So let's talk about our games. So basically what happened is, round one I got paired into Matt Shuckman, and honestly he's got to be one of the best opponents I've ever had in my life. Fantastic guy. And I think the best thing about the game was that we were able to have a precise and technical, and we were both trying intensely to fucking win that game, and the whole time we both thought we were losing, which made it hilarious. But the cool thing about Matt is that at no time did he ever make me feel like I was being an asshole to him by making a mistake, or by trying to play as tight as possible and to clarify intent with him. He never once took it as me trying to fuck him, because I wasn't. And he knew that because he's the same way as me. He wants to play the game by the rules in an intentional way, where you don't want to fuck your opponent. You want to hit everything on mark. You want to play correctly, and if you're going to lose, you're going to lose fairly. Because I think a lot of people get caught up in things like, oh, I would have won if not for. And I'm not even going to get into it, because there definitely was a moment in my game with Matt where if it had gone differently, I could have won. But it doesn't matter, because there were probably 37 moments like that in the game. And the fact is, it doesn't matter. Because Matt played an intensely tight game. I had a ton of fun. And Matt won by 6 points. You can't hope for a better game of Warhammer than that. You know? I think that if I'm going to lose to someone, I'd rather it be by 6 than 26. And as much as one result may have changed it in my favor, so too, if you know what I'm trying to say, if things had gone differently, it could have gone. He could have beat me by 47, or I could have beat him by 47. So people tend to focus on the result that changed the game, and I was so ready to get on here and talk about the that specific moment, and I'm intentionally not doing that, and I'm trying to be a better person, because I know that that's the wrong way to think about the game, because me and Matt had such a fantastic game, and I don't want to sour it by focusing on things of that nature. So number one, Matt, so let's talk about the game a little bit more in detail. So Matt was playing Eldar. He's playing Avatar of Cain, 2 Fire Prisms, a unit of the guys who stand on objectives and have a bright lance. I'm forgetting the name of them. You understand the unit I'm talking about. A War Walker, a unit of Shroud Runners, Farseer on bike. Shroud Runners were awesome, by the way. They died a horrible death, but I'm playing death cards, so I just kill that. Let me talk about that more. So I made a mistake. I had cultists deployed on the line, and I had protected the scout with Nurglings. Yeah, you understand what I'm talking about. And then I scouted my cultists up into the corner on layout 7, and didn't bother to check the angle on them because I thought they were incredibly safe. But I forgot that he has Shroud Runners that just go a billion inches. And go over 2-inch terrain, because that's how Games Workshop layouts work. So I didn't realize that the Shroud Runners would just be like, in front of my doorstep, knocking on my door saying, "Hello, cultists." So I could have hidden them, and then they would have been fine. But anyways, so he comes forward, he kills the cultists with the Shroud Runners, and then fire invades them back. But I was still able to get a line on them with a Pred. So Pred goes in, kills the Shroud Runners. Pred dies in response, but then I'm able to get lines in response, and then I forget exactly the moment. We basically did nothing for 2 turns to the point. I put spawn on objectives. We scored secondaries. I think I bricked a turn, he bricked a turn. It was a very boring game. But then turn 3, I decided to try to go. So he was going first. In his turn 3, I Rapid Ingress Typhus, go in. The long story short, I was trying to get a Storm Hostile objective, and I was trying to kill Striking Scorpions. He overwatches, and it was amazing. He kills Typhus because it's flat 6 damage. He has 6 health, so you just got to get one through. Went through, kills Typhus. So now I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna lose the game, because that was how I was planning to win the game. I did other things. I put tanks on objectives and yada yada, but the big swing was Typhus was going to go in, so that didn't work. So now I'm like, oh no, and the long story short, his crackback was incredible, but the problem was I put Morty on mid as well because it was a full send turn. Mortarion goes into the middle, and I had a bloat drone and a predator who were exposed because I put pot shots down, and I was doing secondaries, yada yada. So he had a couple of choices, and he decided to basically all in Mortarion, thinking, and rightfully so, that at that point, because my Typhus play didn't work out, I was now behind, and if I wanted to make something work, I had to shove, which is exactly what I did. So Mortarion being the key to being able to kill things like Avatar of Cain, he decided, well, actually, I'm sorry, at that point I just killed Avatar, but he still had like everything. He still had 2 Fire Prisms, he still had a Wraith Knight, he still had a ton of shit. So he decides he's going to all-in Mortarion, because if I lose Mortarion, I can no longer win the game, is what it comes down to. Like, I don't win necessarily because Mortarion is alive, but if I do not have Mortarion, I do not have a path to victory. And he recognizes that and goes, instead of trying to fight for 5 points, because there was like what I thought was maybe the more efficient play was to kill I had a bloat drone and a predator on an objective that I just ritualed out, and it was not trivial to kill both. That was like, the angles were weird, but Mortarion was sitting in the middle, so that was his reasoning, was like, the angle, he couldn't line up everything on the 2 tanks, so it wasn't actually like, there was a scenario where he just kills nothing. He doesn't kill, like, I get my 15 and I get Mortarion in the middle, and like everything's, I just win. So he was scared of that happening, so he goes all in on Mortarion, thinking that if Mortarion does die, which I didn't do the math exactly, but I think that reasonably, like, he was not wrong to expect Mortarion to die, but he didn't, is the point. Mortarion lives, because 4-up Emboldens are fickle, and 5-up feel no pain, yada yada. I take like no damage, Mortarion's fine. And he also has not put any damage into the bloat drones, right? So now he's generated, unfortunately for him, the scenario that he's fearing by going, you know what I'm trying to say? So, point is, now I'm like, oh shit, I've got a path. So, Morty, I'm trying to remember what happens at this point. I think he came forward, tags, long story short, it got so tight, it just came down to secondary cards. He drew, in his round 5, top of round 5, he draws Bring It Down, which was exactly what he needed. And I forget what the second one was, but the important one was Bring It Down, because it's uncapped, and I had exposed a ton of vehicles. I believe he ended up getting a big 8 on Bring It Down, and he pushed it to a point where there was no scenario where I was going to be able to win that unless I drew Bring It Down. I draw Bring It Down. So, like, you know what I mean? The game kept flipping back and forth. So I draw Bring It Down, and I'm like, oh shit, there might be a path here. But we talk at this point, I'm missing something, but at some point we mathematically figured out that he was going to win, just based on the resources I had. Like, even if I killed all 3, he had the Wraith Knight was like low, and there were the 2 Fire Prisms, but I just, because he wasn't sure what my output was like, he's like, if you kill all 3 of those, like, there's the path. But I got Defend Stronghold as my 3rd one, that's what it was. He was stressed because if I got, I think like Contain was still in my pool, and if I got like an 8 on Bring It Down and a 6 on Contain, I could have won. But I explained, well, number 1, I drew to Defend, and I think I cycled into Defend, so it was like, nope, that's only 3, and I can't kill all 3 of those, I can only kill 2. So I kill 2, and it just wasn't enough. So I lost by 6. Amazing game. Matt's a great opponent. I could not thank him enough for that. Matt, if you're watching, thank you. So, game 2, I played into another Matthew. Okay, I gotta remind myself, I'm reaching in my pocket for my phone that I'm recording this on.